You have $4,000 sitting in your bank account right now. One single decision, two paths, and almost 99% of your generation will get it dead wrong. Not because you are stupid, not because you are lazy. You will get it wrong because the financial system has spent billions of dollars engineering a massive psychological trap inside your brain. They have spent years gaslighting you into defending financial rules like they are your favorite sports team, relying on gut feelings and emotional relief instead of raw, unvarnished mathematics. But money does not possess an emotional cortex. Money does not care about your feelings, your anxiety, or your peer group. Money only cares about math. So, take out your pencil. We are about to unmask the hidden script that is keeping you broke. Here is the cognitive trap that almost everyone in our generation falls into. You are carrying debt. Let us say it is $6,000 on a credit card, at a brutal 22% interest rate. At the same time, you are told by online gurus that you should invest that same money in an index fund returning a historical 10%. Your gut is screaming. It is telling you that debt is a parasite, a heavy iron chain pulling you down, keeping you from sleeping at night. Your gut wants that debt gone, immediately. And your gut is not entirely wrong, but it does not know why it is right. It is reacting to pure, unadulterated fear. Let us strip away the fear and look at the neurological mechanics. At a 22% interest rate, that $6,000 in debt is a compounding weapon used against you. It is a financial hemorrhage. If you make only the minimum payments, you will end up paying back more than double what you originally borrowed. That is not because the bank is a cartoon villain. It is because math is an absolute indifferent force. Now, compare that to your 10% return in the stock market. If you choose to invest that $6,000 instead of paying off the card, your investment might grow by $600 over the year. Meanwhile, your debt has silently expanded by over $1,300 in interest. You are literally paying the bank $700 for the privilege of investing. The math is not even close. It is a slaughter. Paying off high-interest debt is not just a relief. It is a guaranteed risk-free 22% return on your money. No stock, no crypto, and no fake guru can ever promise you a guaranteed 22% return. But this is where the system plays its darkest psychological game on you, because the banks want you to believe that all debt is the same monster. Let us say your debt is not a credit card. Let us say it is a student loan at 3% or a mortgage at 4%. Suddenly, your brain's evolutionary programming backfires. If the market returns 10% and your loan only costs you 4%, paying extra toward that cheap debt is actually costing you money. You are voluntarily sacrificing a 6% net spread every single year just to buy a temporary feeling of emotional relief. That relief feels incredible in your chest, but it is a luxury purchase. It does not pay your bills. This is the psychological tax nobody explains to you. The question was never, should I pay off debt or invest? The real question is, what is the exact interest rate on the money I owe compared to the potential growth rate on the money I can invest? Richard Thaler, the Nobel Prize-winning pioneer of behavioral economics, identified a specific glitch in our evolutionary software called mental accounting. Your brain instinctively places your debt and your investments into two completely separate emotional drawers, even though they exist within the exact same net worth equation. You perceive debt as a direct physical threat, while you perceive investing as a distant, optional hobby. But a dollar does not have a memory. A dollar saved in interest and a dollar earned in stock market growth have the exact same purchasing power. Your brain simply refuses to see it that way because it is ruled by chemical reactions, not spreadsheets. This cognitive bias is costing you thousands of dollars in silent wealth every single year. Daniel Kahneman, who revolutionized our understanding of human decision-making with his work on loss aversion, proved that human beings feel the pain of a loss roughly twice as intensely as they feel the pleasure of an equivalent gain. That is why paying off a debt feels like a massive immediate hit of dopamine, while watching your investment account quietly tick upward feels boring, distant, and secondary. You are not choosing the path that makes you richer. You are choosing the path that temporarily relieves your brain's status anxiety. You are choosing the better feeling over the better number. Does this mean your emotions are the ultimate enemy? Not quite. In fact, if you ignore how your brain is wired, you will fail anyway. In 2012, Researchers David Gall and Blakely McShane published a landmark study on the psychology of debt repayment. They analyzed the famous debt snowball method, the strategy where you aggressively pay off your smallest balances first, completely ignoring the interest rates. On a pure mathematical spreadsheet, the debt snowball is objectively suboptimal. It mathematically loses you money compared to paying the highest interest rate first. Yet, the data revealed something fascinating. People who used the snowball method were statistically far more likely to eliminate their debt entirely. Why? Because human beings are not computers. We run on momentum. Crossing off a small debt completely triggers a localized microdose of dopamine in your prefrontal cortex. It proves to your brain that progress is possible, breaking the paralysis of financial dread. The math says one thing, but human psychology says another. And a slightly imperfect plan that you actually finish will always beat a mathematically flawless plan that you abandon in month 3 because you felt overwhelmed. This is the psychological turning point that separates the working class from the quietly wealthy. Personal finance is not actually about the pencil. The pencil only tells you what is mathematically optimal. Your behavior determines what is actually possible. So, how do you merge your brain's evolutionary bugs with the absolute laws of mathematics? You use a strict, 4-step behavioral framework designed to bypass your emotional anxiety. Step 1. List your rates, not your balances. The total amount you owe is a scary loud number designed to cause panic. Ignore it. Write down only the interest rates. This is the only number that dictates whether your money is working for you or against you. Step 2. Kill toxic debt aggressively. Anything above a 7 or 8% interest rate is a code red financial emergency. This includes credit cards, predatory personal loans, and bad car payments. You do not invest a single extra dollar until these are destroyed. The interest rate on this debt is a guaranteed, tax-free return on your investment when you pay it off. Step 3. Capture the golden match. Before you throw your entire life savings at your debt, you must look at your employer's retirement match if you have one. If your employer offers a 100% match on your contributions, that is an instant, risk-free 100% return. Ignoring a 100% match to pay down a 4% mortgage faster is not a sign of financial responsibility. It is a critical mathematical error disguised as a virtue. You are literally turning down free, guaranteed wealth to pay off cheap, subsidized debt. Step 4. Let cheap debt ride. Anything below 5% interest, your mortgage, your older student loans, your low-rate car note should be treated as cheap, rented capital. Mathematically, you let it sit, pay only the minimums, and direct every extra dollar of cash flow into the compounding market. It will feel uncomfortable. Your brain will scream that you still owe money, but you must train yourself to realize that your growing investment portfolio is your shield, and it is growing faster than your debt is decay. To see how devastating this psychological error is over a long horizon, let us look at 2 real-world case studies. Person 1 and Person 2. They earn the exact same income. They both have $6,000 of extra cash to allocate every single year. Both have a 30-year mortgage at 3%. Person 1 is terrified of debt. He wants the emotional comfort of owning his home outright. He throws every single extra dollar of his $6,000 a year into his mortgage, paying it off years ahead of schedule. He feels incredibly safe. He looks at his paid-off house and feels a wave of relief. But his investment account sits at 0. Person 2 manages her anxiety with math. She pays only the absolute minimum on her 3% mortgage. She takes her $6,000 a year and consistently buys index funds, letting the historical 10% market growth compound in silence. After 10 years, Person 1 has a paid-off mortgage and 0 investment capital. Person 2 still has a mortgage, but her invested $6,000 a year has silently snowballed into well over $100,000 in highly liquid compounding assets. Same discipline, same hard work, same exact amount of currency moved, but Person 2 has bought herself infinite optionality. If she loses her job, her investments can sustain her for years. If Person 1 loses his job, he cannot eat his drywall. Person 2 aimed her money at wealth. Person 1 aimed his money at comfort. Know which currency you are actually spending. So, where does this leave you tonight? It leaves you with one singular job: Stop treating debt and investing as a moral debate. Stop asking general questions. Take out your pencil, look at your specific numbers, and unmask the interest rates on everything you owe. High rates must be treated like a house fire. Low rates must be treated as cheap leverage while you let the quiet, silent clock of compound interest build your sovereignty. The people who escape the consumer trap are not the ones who found a perfect emotional rule and followed it forever. They are the ones who exposed the psychological tricks of the banking system, aligned their behavior with the absolute laws of mathematics, and had the stoic discipline to watch their wealth grow in silence. You had $4,000 in your account at the start of this. Now you know exactly